So there's only one thing that you need in order to make money with GoHighLevel consistently, and that's the ability to actually solve a problem. So here you can see this is inside one of my clients' accounts who just messaged me today that they closed on a deal. And you can see here I generated 28 Facebook leads. They've spent about $3,000 and they closed an actual deal. And if we go inside of another client's account with GoHighLevel, you can see this is literally today, July 1st, that this client is sending over a contract. This is a different client. So this is how I've been able to consistently sign up clients and provide a great service, is because I understand what my end client wants, right? And so what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to show you what's needed in terms of like, how do you set up your system in business for you to actually duplicate this for yourself if you want to start an agency. So what I'm going to do is walk you through this snapshot that I've created and show you how you can just copy and paste everything I've done, change it for your specific niche, and literally get clients like this week. So all that's needed, right, if you're going to model exactly what I'm doing, is number one, we have our opportunities. So this is just a super simple pipeline. Like I said, this is where people get so caught up in features and so many different automations that they can't even see, the signal amongst the noise, which is just, look, you just need a basic system for people to organize their contacts, right? Or if you're going to do it internally with automation, you don't really need too many stages, right? And some clients are going to want to change their own stages or, add stages, remove stages, whatever. So it's best to keep your product very, very simple, okay? So this is the pipeline. You just need 3 simple steps, right? Now, if you're modeling what I'm doing, this is going to work. If you have a different business, you may need different stages, but I work with investors. I help them find off-market deals. And so all we need is the ability to see new inbound leads, leads that have booked appointments, and leads that have closed. If leads are, not responding, basically dead leads, just delete them from the pipeline. They don't need to be, in a pipeline. You can just let the automation follow up with them. Super simple. So, keep your pipeline super simple, just 3 steps, okay? And then in terms of automation, this is literally all the automations you need if you follow what I'm showing you, okay? So you need the ability to, automatically remind like the lead that books an appointment, the actual, you want to have text and email confirmation when a lead books an appointment. So you can see customer books an appointment, it'll move that lead into the appointment booked pipeline, and then it will text the lead, right? Just super simple, texting the lead that they booked an appointment, as well as emailing them the exact same information. Then we just have some formatting here, and then they'll get a text and email 24 hours before the appointment, an hour before, and 20 minutes. Super simple, okay? So lead fills out an ad, which I'll show you my ad templates and how I manage that. But, basically when a lead books an appointment, they just get those text and email reminders. Super simple. Automated follow-up. So this is just one workflow. You're going to need to customize these things and adjust them for your niche or your business, but it's super simple because the frame is there. And so I'll break this down. So when I run an ad, we're either using a Facebook lead form or a survey inside of GoHighLevel. So depending on which one you're doing, you can either add a lead form here or, just leave it as the survey. I have more in-depth training on this stuff inside of the Agency in a Box course, which is free on YouTube. So you can feel free to watch this or watch that. But basically it's very simple. When a lead fills out the survey or fills out the form, they, start right in the new lead pipeline stage. And then there's a text, right? And this is just text number 1. And then there's a wait period, and then it emails them, and then it just so on and so forth. It's just a series of text and email automation. It's super simple. And all you need to do is turn on the settings, stop on response, so that when a lead responds to the text or email, they're not getting bombarded with more and more follow-up messages, right? And so this is all you need. And what you can do, and inside of the Agency in a Box course, which, like I said, is free on YouTube, you can see, what prompt I use in ChatGPT to pretty much create the follow-up messages like instantaneously. You may have to do some adjustments, but it's pretty easy to get the main system, plug and play into this automation, right? And then if you need more follow-up, you just duplicate the same workflow, and then you call this phase 2. You replace the content in phase 1, because you would have duplicated phase 1, and you just create additional content using ChatGPT, or you can write it yourself. But this is the thing, keep it so simple. Like I'm telling you, the messages that if we look inside of here, like, look, here's the messages. Like, it's super simple. Okay. What have you done to the property recently? So it's not like some crazy in-depth thing. And, we don't really see, like a lot of people responding to emails and stuff. So just keep them simple. end your automation with a question, and you'll probably get a response, because if you just type a bunch of stuff out, what are people supposed to say? If you end the automation with a question, especially if it's like a yes or no or some sort of binary question, like, are you looking to sell now, or, in 30 days or more, right? That's an easy answer because you're giving them the option. So give the lead the option in the actual message, and they're going to respond. Okay. So you just duplicate, right, phase 1, and then you have phase 2. And then once those are complete, all you do is you can just add right here in the plus, you could just do add to workflow, so that if they go through phase 1 and they haven't responded, because we have the stop on response on, then they just go to phase 2. And there you go. And you can duplicate phase 2 and then do a phase 3. And that's all that you really need for the automation, text and email. That's it. And then this is a little bit more advanced. It's going to depend on your lead generation skills. And, if you're offering Facebook ads, if you follow the exact model that I do, then, we're optimizing for the highest quality lead for our client. And so, what I found is they both work. You can actually see here, this is a Facebook lead form. So it's even easier, right? So I would argue that this isn't even essential at this point, but if you want to start improving your results for clients and, testing out different strategies, then yeah, you can use the conversion API. But honestly, if you're starting out, I wouldn't even worry about this. Just, you can have it there just so you have it, but I would just focus on creating good ads, creating good headlines, and then good images or videos, and having a good initial first 3 text messages in your automation. And if you get leads responding, it really shouldn't be that difficult for your client to close a deal. I'm telling you guys this. Okay, so I would even ignore this. It's not essential for now. If you want to learn what this is, how it works, it's in that course and you understand it a little bit more, but I wouldn't even worry about this now. Then for internal notifications, it's the same thing. If somebody submits the survey or the lead form, we want to notify our client via text and via email so they know that they got a lead. Super, super simple. You can see it here, new lead, check CRM for details. We don't need to map all the data. We don't need to map all the fields. Once you start getting into all those different things, it's going to be harder to plug and play your Snapshot and get clients results. Okay. So even though it may seem like it makes sense to, do all this customization, at the end of the day, what a lot of clients want is predictable results. And even if it's not this gigantic promise that they're going to become a millionaire, if they get consistent leads, the leads end up closing and turning into income, they're going to stay on, and the software GoHighLevel will actually add value. So that's my approach, at least. So this is another automation. If a lead books the appointment, sends them a text, sends the client an email, and then it just says new appointment booked. And the goal is not for them to have all their data on their text messages or their emails. The goal is for them to, get a text or email where they're potentially checking more often. And then, okay, I need to check the CRM. They see the new lead, and then they have all the data relevant to the lead there. So you want people in the CRM. You don't want people in their text, in their email. That just defeats the whole purpose of, them signing up with you and working with you, right? And then here's the other element I've added. This is a qualifying bot. And basically, this doesn't require Zapier or ChatGPT or anything. So it's not technically like AI. I mean, some people would call this AI. I guess you could categorize this as AI. But what you can do here is basically customize the bot to work for any niche. And what will happen is when a lead fills out a form, they get this opt-in message, which you can change here. And then they get like a qualifying question that you would write there. And then long story short, once you get them through all these questions, it takes them to if you have the $497 plan, you can put the Eliza bot here, or you can just leave it how I do, which is just give us a few minutes to review. And this actually works super, super well. So what this does is, let's say I work with investors, so people are submitting their addresses for a cash offer. And so when they fill out the form, if a client is using this system, then there's that initial message saying, hey, we received your offer request for 123 ABC Street. And then from there, it says, type yes to finalize your offer. And then they type yes. And then it says, okay, first things first, what's the condition of your property, right? And then once they answer that, then it says, okay, cool. When are you looking to sell, right? So it's just like a logical sequence of automated text that waits for the lead to actually respond. And then by the end of it, you can notify your client, and they'll see a thread of like 5 messages with the lead and the bot. And there's no it's not going to send a bunch of AI messages. It's just pre-programmed. So if you have literally that for your automation, you are you have more than enough. And I'd argue this would be universal for most service-based businesses or businesses that make money taking some form of call. Anything else, pipeline automation, moving stuff, and automating contracts and things like that, that's going to be if you're running your own business and building it on high level. But if you're wanting to be an agency and manage and solve one specific problem for a client, all that stuff is going to create, like you're going to create, what's the word, project creep or whatever. I can't think of what it's called, but where you basically have to, you slowly and slowly start creeping into bigger and bigger or more problems, and then you have to just do more because you're covering a wider surface area. So if you stay super niched, which I do, which is finding the best off-market leads for investors, all I need are great ads, basic automation, right, to get the lead to respond, and then basic pipeline organization so that the the leads can stay organized, and that's it. And then inside of here, to get those leads, we have a funnel, right? And you can customize this. I talk about how to customize this in the course, but you can just customize this and add the questions you need. This is the exact funnel that I run to this day. It just has my own headline and my own questions. Same thing with the calendar. This is the exact 3-step funnel that I run. I just duplicated it and just made it, just removed it so that you guys can put your own info here. But this is the exact Facebook ads funnel that I run right here. And once you have all this created, right, or you just use my Snapshot, if you want to get all of this stuff, you basically get everything I have if you start a trial using my GoHighLevel link. If you're already on HighLevel, you can just buy the stuff directly. But once you know the problem you're solving, and if you're following the model I have, then this is literally all you need. There's nothing else that I do here. And so it's funny because my clients actually only see like a few tabs here. They only usually see conversations, contacts, opportunities. That's all they need to see, right? If they're just focused on working the lead, all they need to see is conversations, contacts, opportunities, right? They don't need to be building automation. They don't need to be building funnels or changing stuff, right? So this is my approach. This is what's been working for me. The more that I niche this down and really got good at what I'm telling you, the more business I get, because people know I'm solving a specific problem, right? And remember, organically, people are going to have other problems and things, and if they trust you and you're doing a good job, they may ask you because it's related to what you're doing. But don't optimize your sales and your presentation and your marketing for being extremely wide and selling a bunch of features. Optimize it for that razor sharp point, which is, this is what I do, and show them the funnel, show them the ads, whatever it is. And then, inside, once they're inside, they're going to tell you, oh, I need this or I need that. And if you want to offer those things, great. But if you attempt to do any sort of ads or outreach or marketing to get clients, and you're like, well, we do this, we do this, we do that, then people are going to get confused and not really want, they're not going to really sign up with you, right? So that's all that's needed from a snapshot perspective. Like I said, you can get this exact snapshot for free if you sign up with a trial, sign up with me on a trial with GoHighLevel. Since I'm a top affiliate, I have a 30-day trial link. So it's completely free to do the trial, and you get what I just showed you, show you how to customize it and everything. If you're already on HighLevel, you can just get this directly. But like I said, it's opportunities, 3 stages right there. Automation, there they are, just 5 clean folders. I'd argue you don't even need this. And this is almost like a little bonus too. You just need basic automated text and email notifications for reminders and when they get leads. That's it. Then you need the funnels to actually convert the leads from seeing the ad to filling out the funnel. And then you need ad templates like this. This is from inside of my actual product that I offer. And so when somebody's says, hey, I want leads in Florida, I just choose my Florida template, I launch the ad, and then they get results like this. And these are all proven templates. So I basically go from somebody being interested to jumping on a quick call, right? They say yes, and I show them. I mean, I don't even show them everything I just showed you. I just show them, here's the ad. Here's the funnel, here's the math behind it. In that course, the free course, I show you how I present it and sell it. But I show them the ad, I show them the funnel, I show them the automation, show them the numbers behind the cost per lead in their area and realistic expectations. And I mean, that's it, right? It's literally can be that simple. But if you start offering and pitching all these different front end offers, it's going to be very confusing, honestly, for you. I mean, it'll be confusing for the lead or potential customer. But sometimes what happens when you get really, really focused is it just gives you the ability to take action. And a lot of the time that action outweighs a more grandiose idea. So if you have like a huge idea, oh, well, I could offer sites, I could offer funnels, this, and this. Sometimes you don't know what to do because there's so much. So when you dial it in, these are my proven ads. This is my proven funnel. These are my proven automated messages that get a 40 to 50% response rate. Here's how you work the lead, right? And then here's the math behind your market, what you need to spend. It's literally can be that simple. So I just wanted to create this for you guys that are, I know I get a lot of questions and sometimes people are just so confused and, HighLevel doesn't really become valuable for you if you're just, you can't get clients, right? So I want to keep creating stuff to show you guys the real thing that's actually moving the needle. So like I said, if you want to get this snapshot as well as the other snapshots that I have, you know, the course, the community, I also do a weekly Q&A, just sign up for a free trial. It's totally free. It will be for the $497 plan, but you can change the plan to any plan that you want. So it'll show $497, but you're not locked in any way. And yeah, I would love to show you guys how to model this agency style, because it's just so simple. And once you have the product and this back end really dialed in, there's nothing more fun than getting clients, because, you know, you set them up in like literally 20, 30 minutes and they actually get results. It's not like I'm just doing some service that isn't actually good. So it's just because I've really refined all these elements so that it can be faster, but it's just as punchy, if not more punchy, than some offer that takes a bunch of time and, you know, it seems like it's good. So it's straight to the point. I would love to see more people implement this model, and yeah, show you guys how to do it. So sign up with a free trial. Like I said, if you're already on GoHighLevel, you can just grab this below. I mean, you're not going to get my investor templates. I still run that business, but if you want the snapshot with the funnels, and I do show you how to create these templates and stuff, then I would love to see you inside the community and on the Q&A. So hope this was helpful. Hope it creates some simplicity, and I'll talk to you soon. All right. Bye-bye.